I got to tell you, we're all sorts of fired up today. I just spent the last hour arguing about this college football playoff with people. I have to tell you, our goal is to get it right. That is our goal. People are comparing this to the NFL. If Carson Wentz got hurt, folks, newsflash. If Trevor Lawrence, he gets hurt last night, which he did, and the Jaguars won, they were the 1 seed in the AFC, and you had to pick the top 4 teams in the AFC, Jacksonville's not getting in. That's the way it works. I feel bad for Florida State, but if the tournament was 5 teams, they would have got in. And you could have put them possibly behind Georgia even. The injuries matter. It shouldn't be that way. But if I challenge you to name those teams, you have to pick the best teams. Just like here on the College Basketball Betting Show, we pick the winners. That's our goal here, folks. We are ready to roll on a huge, huge Tuesday slate. Just got approved for press credentials. I'm going to be down at MSG tonight with the legend, the GOAT himself, Mike Cucci. So make sure you follow us here on FTN Fantasy. We'll have pictures. We'll have stuff. You know, my Owls are going to be there after a fantastic year. Got to go back to MSG tonight. Excited to hang out with Mike, have a beverage or two. You know our goal here, folks. We have 105 days until March 19th. We're trying to get that 1 unit per day and get to 100 units. In the last couple of days, we had some good momentum. We had a nice pick yesterday, nice comfortable cover, which has been rare this year with Purdue from start to finish against Iowa. Once Fran got that tee in the first minute or so, we knew we were in good shape. Let's take a look at today's schedule. I'm going to go one by one. As you know, not all of these are plays, but I try to cover as many games I have a feeling for because you ask for them, and I give what the people ask. Here we go. Listen, Central Connecticut State against Boston College. I understand if you don't want to pick this line, and I put the confidence level at 6 because I haven't seen Central Connecticut a heck of a lot this year, but Boston College playing at home is in Conti Morgue. I know it. I've been there. They're not fired up for this game. Quentin Post should have his way inside, but Central Connecticut has been pretty competitive the last 2 games. They've made 10 3-pointers in each of those games. BC is terrible at defending the 3. This line was at 14.5. I took it at 14.5. It's now at 16.5. I just don't think Boston College wins this game comfortably. They don't cover big spreads. Is it possible they get hot from 3 and Zachary hits a couple shots and Post goes for 30? Probably Mike Kutri's nailing his prop right now. That's fine. I have just seen these flat spots with Boston College. They had a massive comeback against Harvard, who was on the second leg of a back-to-back 2 consecutive nights after winning in overtime against UMass the night before. Should have lost that game. Richmond up big, should have lost that game. NC State was getting buried, had a big comeback, lost in overtime. That's going to catch up with the team. That's why we're going Central Connecticut State against my alma mater, getting 16.5. Confidence level is only 6 because I can't speak to Central Connecticut a lot. I only saw them a little bit in their matchup against Army. That was it. Xavier's tough at home. They score a ton of points. Delaware has impressed this year, but Xavier gets up and down the floor. I don't think Delaware has the offense to stay with Xavier. Now, listen, this one is only a confidence level 6. Why? Because it's a look-ahead game to Cincinnati coming up this Saturday, which is always a big game. I just don't think Xavier has the ability to look ahead because they've struggled this year and they need this game. They need a win. And so I think it's going to be very interesting today to see if they actually get going and they're able to get it like they need to. They've lost to Oakland at home. We got that one right. Houston, they did cover 66-60. That was a tough loss. I don't think they can just pack it against Delaware. I think Sean Miller gets them ready. Their offense is legit. I think they score. If they just make some free throws tonight, they should win this one comfortably. I don't know if they're beating Cincinnati at home. That one's a toss-up to me, but I think you're staring if you don't win this game in the face of 4 straight losses for Xavier. I don't see that happening. I think they're going to win, so I will take them to cover. Not a lot of confidence here. Winthrop minus 6.5 versus Queens. Winthrop creates a pace I don't think Queens will be comfortable with. Winthrop's been up and down a little bit. People have been asking about this game because they like betting Winthrop at home because they've been a good team at home in the past. So I put it up here. This is not one of my top plays. Confidence levels only for Winthrop coming off a win over Coastal away, which was impressive where they dropped 90 points. So I think their pace, their up and down, should be able to get them to the window here against Queens. Queens is in North Carolina, so you're looking at a North Carolina, South Carolina matchup. It's close. 6.5 is a little much. I would like it better at 3 or 4. I put it in here, not one of my top plays. The game I'm going to tonight, Florida Atlantic versus Illinois. Illinois' defense has been fantastic. Locking down. Terrence Shannon's been great. They just have not played an offense as good as Florida Atlantic this year. This Owl team gets up and down the floor. They're explosive. They're going to pick you up full court. I don't even know if Nick Boyd's playing. If Nick Boyd is playing, this line is probably flying up to 3.5 or 4 points. I will take Florida Atlantic here in this matchup against Illinois. Illinois can't make free throws. They're shooting 56% this year. Magic at MSG happens with the Owls. I'll take Florida Atlantic -2. Took this one right away. I expect this one to creep up as we get closer to game time. Tennessee needs this win badly. This has been in the words of Tennessee head coach Rick Barnes, it has been his worst November that he's ever had in coaching. So I think this is going to be a big matchup. They lost to Purdue, they lost to Kansas, they lost to North Carolina. All of those games were close, neutral, and away at North Carolina. They need this game. They have Illinois at home. They're going to lose 4 in a row. They're going to lose to George Mason. And George Mason has done a nice job this year. Tony Skinn has taken over the program where he played his alma mater, and they are 7-1. But the teams that they've beaten so far this year, George Mason, Monmouth, Austin Peay, South Dakota State, East Carolina, Cornell, NJIT, Toledo, that is not the level of the defense that you're going to see from Tennessee. They're going to lock them down. I think Tennessee wins this one comfortably. That's why I put it at a confidence level of 9. Next one, Oklahoma -5 versus Providence. I'm nervous about this one a little bit. I do like Oklahoma. I love what Porter Mosier's doing. I think his defense and his schemes, he's one of the best tacticians in all of college basketball. I think this is a big matchup. I'm a little nervous because the line is creeping down. It opened at 6. It got down to 5. I'm a little shaky on that. I don't like Providence. You know that, but you know they can score. I could see this one being a 3 or 4 point win. I do like Oklahoma. I think they're the better team. I think people are going with Providence, who can be a little helter-skelter, can turn it over, and is not great on defense. I think Oklahoma cooked something up for Bryce Hopkins tonight. That's why I'm taking them. Be careful with this one because it's going in the other direction. Maybe Bradley isn't as good. Bradley gagged it against Indiana State, which was a game that we really liked. Now there we go. We're back. Here we go. Are they going to lose 3 games in a row? I don't know. But Akron is now on a 3-game losing streak themselves. So you have 2 teams that are struggling with losing streaks meeting here in Akron. Akron lost to Utah State, close game. Akron lost to Drake, struggled. Akron lost at UNLV, tough. This is a home matchup against Bradley, who is better at home than on the road. It's close. I'm not sure it's a coin flip, but I do like Akron in this situation because I'm worried. That loss to Indiana State should not have been that big. That was a bad loss for Bradley. I'm taking Michigan State -4.5 versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin does this pass and look, and I believe in Michigan State. I may believe in them to a fault, but I think this Michigan State team is a Final Four caliber team, and they have struggled, but they've started to shoot better from 3-point range the last couple games, and their guards are good, their defense is solid, and they're playing home. So you have a Michigan State team that is still just shooting 26.9% from 3-point range, but they played Georgia Southern. I know it's Georgia Southern here, and they started to get a little bit better making some shots. Wisconsin will give you the threes. They will not take away the arc, Wisconsin. They will allow you to shoot it if you can make it. I think there's a chance that they do well. Wisconsin is coming off a big win at home against Marquette. That was a look-ahead game for Marquette going against Texas. Michigan State tonight, I'm going to lay those points against Wisconsin. I believe in UNC Asheville. This is the time in the year where if a team that you like wasn't playing well, they can turn it around. I like UNC Asheville. They struggled earlier in the year. Now they're getting better. They're playing Kennesaw State, which again is adjusting without life here with their new coach at home. And they're playing UNC Asheville. Asheville struggled against Michigan, lost that one to start. Struggled against UNC Wilmington, lost that one. Then they beat Wofford. Then they beat Western Carolina. They're starting to get right. I think we're going to see some positive regression with Asheville, and I think they're going to win outright at Kennesaw State. Winning on the road is not easy. Kennesaw State under Antoine Petway, still fastest paced team in the country, up and down, but that also means turnovers. And I think that this UNC Asheville team, it's too low a line. People are going to take Kennesaw State. I believe in UNC Asheville. I believe in Drew Pember. I think they get the win here in a tough spot. I also like Stetson. Stetson has been up and down. They're playing Charlotte. We know Charlotte is going to bring tremendous defense, but Stetson under Donnie Jones can do the same and be strong. They also make free throws, which is what I like about Stetson. They are coming off a brutal loss, an inexcusable loss to Chicago State, which is why I think we're getting a big number here. But they beat UCF away in a true road game. They beat Central Michigan. They beat Milwaukee. They battled Houston. They played UNLV. They have played some tough teams. Charlotte, under Aaron Fear, is not the same team as they have been in the past. This is Aaron Fear's first year. Yes, they play solid defense, but you get a window sometimes into why teams are struggling, and there's a window here. Charlotte, should not have lost at home to Davidson. That is a bad loss, giving up 85 points to Davidson. Seriously, I think this is a slobber knocker, and I'll take Stetson with the points. I don't think Charlotte can cover 9.5 points against a decent Stetson team. Only reason that this is confidence level 7, I've been very high on the Ivy League. The Ivy League teams are no joke. Spoiler alert, Cornell and Syracuse coming up. Columbia has been very strong this year and is playing well. 6.5 is a lot against Lafayette. Lafayette isn't great, but I like this team, this Columbia team. I like all these Ivy League teams because I think they're devalued when it comes to the betting market. Columbia has done a nice job, and they were close with that New Hampshire game. Playing at New Hampshire for a team like Columbia is not easy. That was a very close game. I think it's strong. I like this game as well, and I'm going to lay the points here with Columbia at home. It's frisky, but Columbia did beat Loyola Maryland at home by 12. They beat Maine at home. How good does that one look? By 19. I think they get it here. They also shoot free throws well, and they defend the 3 well, which is important against Lafayette. Not a game that's on everyone's radar, but I think Columbia is good. I'm going to lay the points. We're going back to Western Carolina. They should not have lost that game. Really tough loss and played well. They had some foul trouble in that matchup, but this is another team like UNC Wilmington. I told you I liked UNC Wilmington, and they went out and they won at Kentucky. That is one of my teams. Western Carolina is another one. They're great on the defensive boards. They don't force a lot of turnovers, but they sure as heck make threes. That was a bad loss to Gardner-Webb. This is another in-state battle here with High Point. High Point likes to get up and down the floor. They can push the pace. They can make shots inside, but they are terrible, High Point, at defending the 3. I think Western Carolina gets back. I think they win the game outright. If you want to go money line, I'm fine with that. One of my absolute favorite plays in the night. Can you explain to me why Mike White is laying 5.5 points against a Georgia Tech team that just beat Duke at home? So you're telling me, and I know it's a rivalry and some weird things happen, you're telling me that this team should be getting 5.5 points on the road at Mike White? They beat Mississippi State at home. They beat Duke at home. Remember, Damon Stoudemire, head coach of Georgia Tech, doing a great job. They are great at defending the 3. They're great on the offensive board. You would expect that with a Damon Stoudemire coach team. I am taking the 5.5 points. I think they win the game outright. Rivalry game. I get it, Georgia. I don't trust Mike White. His offense is anemic. I get it. 5.5, one of my best plays of the night. Cornell always does well at Syracuse. Syracuse is not the same team. They're struggling for an identity. They get in foul trouble. They turn it over. J.J. Starling can't make shots from the outside. Judah Mintz has taken 5,000 shots a game and scoring big time. Judah Mintz looks like he's going for his NBA draft status. That's what he's going against. Cornell is a smart team. They shoot threes. You saw them win against Fordham. I like this Cornell team. Yet another example of an Ivy League team that is not getting enough value in the market. This line jumped up to 5. It's now coming down very, very quickly. Cornell is 7-1. They won at Lafayette. They beat Monmouth. They beat Cal State Fullerton. They won the game at Fordham. Now they're going to Syracuse. This is a great battle. This is a rivalry battle. We've seen Cornell beat Jim Boeheim teams. I think we see them tonight beat Syracuse. Boy, if Loyola Chicago burns me again when I make them a confidence level 10, I'm done with them. This Loyola Chicago team is not good. I have no idea how they beat Harvard. It was just a terrible performance by Harvard. I'm going back to them. You're telling me Loyola Chicago, who struggles to shoot threes, who looks like a shell of their former self, with a head coach I don't like in terms of a strategy, changing paces, is going on the road and winning at Tulsa. I just don't see it. I like this Tulsa team. They played well against Oral Roberts. That was a tough matchup, and they almost took that one down. They are 4-2 this year. They have Eric Conkle, second year under Eric Conkle, who came over from Louisiana Tech, who did a great job at Louisiana Tech. Last year, they were 5-25, 1-17 in the American, but they were competitive as the year went on. Now they're 4-2. They're playing well. They lost to Little Rock away, which is not an easy game by 2. They lost to Oral Roberts away in a rivalry game in Oklahoma, and now they're hosting Loyola Chicago. I think they pound Loyola Chicago tonight. That's why I make it a confidence level 10. Texas State's defense alone should get them close in this game. I really like Boise State. Leon Rice is very underrated. Mount West teams in general underrated. Colorado State. But I do like North Texas defense, locking it down, slowing it down, putting points at a premium, getting 4.5. They have played very well. And sometimes when you lose your head coach, Grant McCaslin, who has gone down to Texas Tech. Sometimes you still have a hangover and you have success, and they have had success here, which is what I've been impressed with. 360th in the country. This should be a slow-paced game. They're shooting 39% from three-point range. North Texas is making 82% of their free throws. That's number 3 in the country. So a good defensive team, a good rebounding team, a good three-point shooting team, and a good free throw shooting team. That is the team you want to back on the road getting points, which is why we have North Texas. Only reason this is confidence level 7 is because we're getting a little bit high here with the line. I don't like Indiana. You know that. I also don't like Michigan. But Michigan has showed me something, competing well at Oregon. Here, home, I think they play well. Doug McDaniel has been on fire, can easily drop it at 30 to 35 points. Indiana has no guards, 0 guards. Bad matchup, track meet. Michigan wins this. Opened at 5. If you got it there, God bless you. It's up to 7. It's creeping up a little bit. I'm still going to lay it, but because it's so many points, I'm holding off. Saw Seton Hall against Northeastern, wasn't impressed, very sloppy. Going down to Baylor, this is a very tough spot going down to Baylor. So I'm taking Baylor, even though it's 11 points, which is a lot of points. I'm only making confidence level 7 because, of course, they could lose by 10 or 9. Seton Hall's not win this game at Baylor. 11 points is a lot. I'm taking it. You know my thoughts on Gonzaga. They do not cover big spreads here. They don't cover big spreads at home against inferior opponents. Mark Few always calls the dogs off. They have not been great. They have to win by 35 here. I don't care what you think about Arkansas Pine Bluff. Gonzaga doesn't win games by dominant fashion. If they get up by 25 at the half, they're not winning by 50. They just historically don't do that against inferior opponents at home because Mark Few is a great guy. So I'll take the 33.5 with Pine Bluff. Mike Kutry picked this game, and I'm with him on it. I don't like North Carolina. I just think 6 is too much. If it was 2 or 3, like the Florida Atlantic game, I'd take UConn. But they do have the bigs in Armando Bacot and Harrison Ingram who can limit Caravan. Caravan has limit the bigs inside. They've been doing a good job, UConn, and they've been playing well. But I think this is a matchup which is going to be a coin flip game. They played Kansas, Connecticut, and what you saw inside is Klingon, the big man, was stymied a little bit. And when that happens, they needed remarkable three-point shooting from Tristan Newton, who was 6 of 9. Cam Spencer is solid, I get it, but they're not that deep. North Carolina has depth. North Carolina has the bigs to limit Klingon. Caravan's got to get hot from outside. He was only 2 of 7. I am taking UNC because I think it's way too many points here. Only a couple games left, guys, and we'll get to your questions. Confidence level 10, I love Southern Illinois. I don't like Oklahoma State. I don't like their offense, and I don't like their offense specifically on the road. They are traveling to Southern Illinois. This is a spot where they're going to go on the road now, and they're going to play at Southern Illinois, who is licking their chops for this matchup. Southern Illinois, 39% from three-point range. Southern Illinois, number 6 in the country at limiting opponents' three-point shooting, holding them to only 25%. Home underdog against an overvalued Power 6 team. Don't like it at all. Give me Southern Illinois plus the points here against an Oklahoma State team. Remember, on the road, 61% from the free throw line. If this game is close, we'll take it to the window. That's why it's level 10. This one is not. Grand Canyon is always tough at home, but I don't know if this is a typical Grand Canyon team, and they also turn the ball over an awful lot. San Diego State is tough. It's only 2.5. This isn't one of my top picks, but I do like Grand Canyon whenever they can get points at home because the Antelopes are fantastic with that crowd. It's just a low line here, so I would be careful and tread carefully. If we get hot early in the day, this is a no play. And finally, St. Mary, stare and watch, pass the ball, stare and watch, no interior presence. Cleveland State can guard you. They're going to be aggressive. St. Mary's at home is always tough. 17 points is a lot. Not one of my top plays, but I'm going to take St. Mary's and lay those. I'm going to take the points against St. Mary's when I have an opportunity to do so. Let's hear the games here, and then we will get you out of here. Nile, Mimosas, and FAU, you got it. The BCU fate is coming, Colby, and that's the bottom line. I've just seen them in this situation so many times. I get it. Central Connecticut State stinks. Is BC winning this game by 30? No, they're not. So the question is, are they going to win it by 20? Are they going to win it by 18? Or is it going to be close? I'll take the points there. At least college basketball gets it right. Thank you, Austin. Thank you very much. UConn, UNC under. Yeah, Adam, that's a good question. I think UNC needs to run tonight. I don't think they want to slow it down. I think they want to get up and down the court. They show good depth. They rotate players in. I'm not a fan of Hubert Davis, like you know, but I don't know about this. UConn has played at MSG already. They have experience. I don't know about that. That one I'm staying away from. I probably would go to the over. Kevin Meyer, Ole Miss crushes Mount St. Mary's tonight. Yeah, Mount St. Mary's, it's interesting. They've been competitive and they've played well. Ole Miss has been so good under Chris Beard. Remember, Chris Beard came over. He was fired from Texas because of the off-the-court issue. He's come to Ole Miss. He's been fantastic. Could this be a letdown spot, Kevin? It's possible because they just beat Memphis at home. I get it. It's just a lot of points here, so I'm not sure about that one. Folks, there you go. If you are at the game tonight, send us a message here in the Discord or send us a message on Twitter, on X at Randle Rant. Let us know. Come by. We'll have a beverage. We'll talk some college hoops. I'll be there with the GOAT himself, Mike Kutry, who is closing in on 100 units up, yet we have only been about 1 month into the season. The guy is just tremendous. We're lucky to have him. As always, folks, thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Randle. Let's get to the window. College basketball season is upon us. Jimmy V Classic. I'll see you there.